Welcome back, class. So now we are starting our new chapter, which is actually about bipolar junction transistor, okay, BJT. So far in this course we have learned about the formation of the diodes, that how by combining two different semiconductor material. For example, if we have a p-type material and an n-type material, and if we combine them, we know that a junction will formed here. Okay, so basically this represents a diode. Okay, this is the positive terminal anode, or this is the negative cathode of the diode. We have seen different applications of the diodes. They in the rectification process, the clipping and clapping, and we studied about the Zener and the other kinds of the special diodes. So in this chapter we are going to study that what if we combine two different junctions. Okay, here we are combining two materials, p and n-type material, and we get one diode. Okay, let's say I have one junction, that I have a p-type material and n-type material. Okay, so this is making one junction, and then I have another p-type material and n-type material. Okay, so this will also form another junction. Okay, so if I combine them, okay, so I can draw them like this, that this is my n, this could be my p, and this could be my n. Okay, so these are, now we have two junction, two or bi junction or bipolar junction. Okay, so what will happen here, we will get one junction here, okay, like we have here, and we get another junction here, okay, between this p and n, and another junction between this n and p. Okay, so basically I combine these two p and represents them using only one p-type material. So this is called bipolar junction. Okay, bipolar junction transistor. So that we are combining two transistors. Okay, making two junctions. So this is transistor. Okay, or BJT, bipolar junction transistor, BJT. So BJT have a lot of applications in the electronics. Okay, most common applications are for the amplification, linear amplification, switching purposes. It's also used for the impedance matching circuits. Okay, so this chapter is focusing on the operation of the BJT, that how like if we make the bipolar junction, how it will operate, how the BJT will operate, what are the different kinds of the bipolar junction transistors, and how we can analyze them using the DC biasing and AC biasing. Okay, so that is the main focus of this chapter. So let's say, so how we are actually making BJT, we are actually doping, okay, three different, okay, three dope regions. Okay, so like I said earlier, okay, we have, like here we have N, we have this P, and we have N here. Okay, N-type material, P-type material, and N. So this is called NPN transistor. We could also have such that we have p-type material here, n-type material here, and p-type material here. Okay, this is called PNP transistor. Okay, so these are the two different kinds of BJT, NPN transistor and PNP transistor. Okay, so we are getting two different three dope regions. Okay, and basically we are getting two back-to-back PN junctions. Okay, so one junction is being formed here and another junction is being formed here. Okay, so if you talk about NPN version, okay, so here we have N-type material, here we have P-type material, and again here we have N-type material. Okay, or this is also called as emitter. This is called as base, and this is called as collector. Okay, emitter, base, and collector. Okay, and if we try to draw the diode form, so what will it look like? So let me draw here for the NPN. Okay, so this is P, this is N. Okay, so we have the diode triangular here, because we know that this is P and this is N. Okay, and for this what I have here, this is P and this is N. Okay, so this is a P is a common between them. This is my base, this is my emitter, and this is my collector. Okay, so this is the diode analogy. Okay, diode, the junction formation in the form of the diodes. Okay, so we are getting two different junctions. Okay, this is called this is emitter, this is base. Okay, so this is called emitter base junction. This is called emitter base junction. Okay, and this is called collector base junction. Okay, CB or BC, whatever you, collector base junction or base collector junction, emitter base junction or base emitter junction. Okay, now to operate them, okay, we have to apply some biasing. Okay, but before going to that, okay, let me explain one more thing here. So as we can see from the configuration, so this is n-type material. Okay, so in this configuration, NPN configuration, we have high doping of the n-type materials in the two sides, and we have very less doping, okay, of the p-type material. So basically this is a very thin, okay, here for the understanding purpose the width has been shown a bit, but this is a very thin region. Okay, very thin region. Okay, like practically we have very small p-type doping here. Okay, very thin region here. So now let's see that how it will operate. Okay, so for the basic operation of the BJT, what we do, okay, so as I said earlier, this is N, this is P, and NPN bipolar junction transistor. This is the emitter, and this is our collector. So what we do here, okay, we supply, okay, we make this junction, okay, this N and PN junction forward biased. Okay, so basically what we are having here, so this is our diode. Okay, this is P, and this is like, this is my base, this is my emitter, and this is my collector end. Okay, so first what will I do, I will connect, okay, a battery here, okay, in this configuration, so that I can make this region base emitter junction forward biased. Okay, so I will connect positive here and negative here. Okay, like you can see here. So what will happen after this connection? Okay, so here in the p-type materials, okay, let me explain this with this example, this figure, it will be more clear. So what we are doing here, okay, if for example let's consider the no DC biasing case. So in the no DC biasing case, what is happening, that in the n-type material, okay, we got the free electrons. Okay, so these are our free electrons, and again these are also free electrons, and these are in the p-type material, we have the free holes, right? And we are getting two different junctions. Okay, one junction is here, another junction is here. Okay, so also we draw the transistor like this, that this is my base, okay, and this is my base, this is my emitter, and this is collector. This is the most commonly used symbolic representation of the transistor. Okay, we are going to use this again and again. Okay, so we are not applying any biasing. We have free electron here, holes here, and the free electrons here. Now what will happen? Let's say we have applied the biasing, okay, across the collector. Okay, this is our collector, this is our base, and we have applied the biasing such that we have connected the positive terminal here. So we know that this configuration is like this, that we have diode, okay, this is our collector, this is our base. So here we are connecting a battery, okay, Okay, like this is n-type material, this is p-type material. So positive is connected with n-type and negative is connected with p-type. So what will happen? This positive, okay, terminal, we have the positive charge here, it will attract the electrons. Okay, it will attract the electrons. So basically first thing when we make this configuration, so what is actually happening, we are going in the reverse biased operation. Okay, so we are making the collector base junction as reverse biased. Okay, now what will happen, this positive terminal, it will attract the electrons. Okay, so it means the junction size, okay, it will start increasing. Okay, and this negative electron, it will attract the holes. Okay, so again the junction is increasing. Okay, so the depletion region which we are getting here between collector and base, so you can see here, in this case this was our depletion region. Now the depletion region is increasing. Okay, next what will happen now, if we connect another battery, okay, across this junction, okay, this PNN junction, okay, and we connect such that it operates in forward bias. Okay, this junction operates in forward bias and collector base junction operate in reverse bias. Okay, let's see what will happen. Now if we connect a battery here, okay, like the positive terminal is connected with the positive and negative is connected with the negative. Now what will happen, this positive terminal, it will repel these holes. This negative terminal, it will generate more ions here, and these ions will repel these free electrons. Okay, so now we are getting pushing from this side because this is in forward bias. Okay, because this is in forward bias, so the negative electron will push these free electrons. So these free electrons will start moving towards the junction side, and if the applied voltage is greater than the junction voltage, so the junction will broken. Okay, and these free electron will enter the base. Okay, so what we have here at the base, we have the free holes. Okay, so two things will happen, some of the electrons will combine with these holes here and the recombination will happen. Okay, and but now here like you are getting more and more ions. Okay, and you are getting more and more pulling, junction has been broken, this is a very thin region. So here you have the more high voltage, okay, more high positive ion. So this positive ion is attracting the electrons. So these electrons which are moving towards this junction, they will be attracted towards the collector end. Okay, so basically what is happening here, that the electrons which are being pushed by to the forward bias operation of this junction, they are being attracted towards the collector. So this is the flow of the electrons. Okay, so basically the current will start flowing, the electron current, okay, from negative to positive. The electrons are moving from this junction to the collector junction. Okay, so the current will start flowing in this case. But as I said earlier, okay, we have some free holes here. So there could be some recombination between the electrons which are entering this region. Okay, and the small current will also flow. A very small current will also flow through this base region. Okay, so due to the very small the recombination of these two. Okay. So what is actually happening here, we make this region forward bias. Okay, the injected electrons will push this. Okay, it will enter in the p region and finally it will be attracted towards the collector region. So due to this, electron current will start flowing. Okay, but also we are having very small the base current due to the recombination of the electrons which are entering here. Okay, so we talk about the electron current, but if we talk about the conventional current, so the conventional current is current which basically flowing from the positive end. Electron current will flow from the negative to the positive, but the conventional current, okay, basically the junction is the current is flowing. So the positive ion which are being generated here, okay, from this end, the positive current will be flowing from positive to the negative. Okay, but the current will start flowing from the collector to the emitter. Okay, if this is my NPN, okay, this is base, Okay, this is collector and this is emitter. Okay, now the current will start flowing from the collector to the emitter. Okay, so the current which is flowing from the collector, we call this collector current or IC. The current which is coming from the base, we call this base current. Okay, we make this forward bias, the base emitter junction, we make it forward bias, and due to this a very small current IB will be flowing here. Okay, and eventually we get the flow of the collector current. Okay, the conventional current. So the collector current is coming, the base current is coming, and both are combining and going to the emitter current. Okay, so basically collector current plus base current is equal to the emitter current. Okay, this is called, we just apply the Kirchhoff current law here. Okay, that the entering base current plus the emitter current is equal to the entering base current and the collector current is equal to the emitter current. Okay, this is just the Kirchhoff current law for the emitter, the NPN transistor. Okay, so there are different modes of the BJT. Okay, we divide them in three different categories. We call them active mode, saturation mode, and the cutoff mode. Okay, so the cutoff mode is that when your base current is almost zero. Okay, so when the base current is zero, you will get almost zero collector current. Okay, so basically the collector current, okay, we get the collector current due to the base current. Okay, once the junction is broken, okay, due to the forward bias operation, then the flow of the current will start. Okay, if this junction is not forward biased, okay, the emitter base junction is not forward biased in NPN transistor, there will be no flow of current. Okay, so active mode is the region where actually we operate the transistor for the amplifier application. Okay, so the active mode is, if I draw this transistor like this, so like this is my collector voltage, this is my base voltage, and this is my emitter voltage. Okay, so the active mode is the case when your collector voltage is greater than the base voltage. Okay, because if this is greater than, then this junction will also it will ensure that the collector base junction is in reverse biased and the flow of the current will start. Okay, one junction will be in forward biased, the other will be in reverse biased. Okay, so that will be the active mode. Okay, and if this condition is not satisfied, that the collector voltage is less than base voltage, we call this saturation mode. Okay, so this is the configuration. Okay, the same configuration which I just explained earlier on: base, emitter, and collector, NPN, and this is PNP. The only difference between NPN and PNP is just the flow of the current. Okay, rest of the operation is remains same for both of them. Okay, so here again, if you see, the base current plus collector current is equal to the emitter current. Okay, here you can also see that the same equation will hold. Okay, so here emitter current, okay, this is equal to the base current plus the collector current. Okay, so there is only change in the flow of the current. Okay, so the conventional current from IC is going to the IE, here just the reverse. Okay, so here there is some important things. So this is base, we supply some DC biasing here so that we can break this junction. Okay, so we know that this is a diode junction here, forward bias junction. So to break this, so let's say this is the emitter voltage and this is the collector voltage. Okay, so this voltage between V base and emitter, okay, this is the valued potential voltage. So typically this value is 0.7 volt. Okay, so here we have the collector. To make this junction, base emitter junction is forward biased, we should supply the base voltage which is greater than the base emitter, this 0.7, because if you supply more than this, then this will become forward bias and the IB current will start flowing. Okay, if the IB current start flowing, okay, due to this, then we will get the, basically this become forward bias and the collector base become reverse bias and the flow of the current will start. Okay, so here the collector emitter voltage, Okay, so here if we have the collector voltage here and the emitter voltage here, so the difference of them, it will be collector emitter voltage. So if we are trying to calculate the base emitter voltage, this is basically the difference of the base voltage minus the emitter voltage. If you are trying to calculate the collector emitter voltage, so collector voltage minus the emitter voltage. Okay, these are the basic formulas. And if we just apply the KVL and KCL, we will get these equations. I will discuss this in the live session. I want to talk about this here, okay, for the general. So the first thing, if we apply the Kirchhoff current law, we will get this equation, that the entering current, the base current plus the entering current, collector current, is equal to the emitter current. Okay. Also the other relationship is that the collector current is beta times of IB. Beta is called the current gain. Okay, current gain function. Okay, what is this thing telling us? That the collector current is highly depending on the base current. Okay, and the small change in the base current, small change in IB, it will produce a huge change in IC. Okay, because of the current gain function. The typical value of the current gain function is usually between 20 to 200. Okay, so with a very small change, we will get a very huge collector current here. Okay, so this is one relationship, or we can also define beta as the IC over IB here. Okay, the ratio of the collector over base current. Also, we can write the collector current in terms of the alpha times IE. Okay, alpha is defined that how much electrons are being pulled by the collector. Okay, so we know that the electrons, okay, due to the forward bias region, are moving towards the collector region. So how much electrons are being pulled towards the collector region, that is defined by the alpha. So usually the alpha value is less than 1 unity. Okay, for example, if we make alpha is equal to 1, means 100%, so it means 100% electrons are pulled by the collector. Okay, so which is not ideal. Okay, because some of the electrons are being combined at the base junction. So the value of the alpha is usually less than 1. Okay, and alpha is usually defined as ratio of the IC over IE. Okay, because how much electrons are being pulled from the emitter to the collector. So the ratio of the collector current with the emitter current we define as alpha. Similarly, we can define the other relationship, that IB we can also write in the form of the alpha, and IC in the form of the alpha, or IC beta IB. Okay, these are the general formulas. And beta we can also write in form of the alpha over 1 minus alpha, or we can write alpha as beta over 1 plus beta. Okay, so this is the most important slide, okay, of this lecture so far, these formulas, because we are going to use these formulas, okay, for the actual solving of the BJT circuit. Okay, so we will solve the examples related to this concept during the live session. Thank you very much for your time.